So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a short span of time within 30 minutes. The idea is very simple. We want you to cover your current affairs on a daily basis, but we also don't want you to spend your entire day just reading the newspaper. Therefore, this lecture series is launched to help you out in covering your current affairs in a short span of time so that your entire day is freed up for studying other parts of your UPSC syllabus. Okay, so make this lecture series a daily habit of yours. Now, just watching this lecture would be job half done. After watching this lecture, you need to revise it as well because revision really helps in consolidating these current affairs in your memory for longer periods of time, or otherwise, you'll quickly forget them. So, please make sure that you revise this lecture as soon as you finish it. Now, you can revise this lecture from the notes provided by us, and these notes are shared on our Telegram channel. Now, where can you find our Telegram channel? Just below this video in the comment section, you'll find a link to our Telegram channel. You just have to click on that link. It'll take you to our Telegram channel, and from there, you can download this lecture's notes. Okay, so let's begin today's discussion. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we are going to cover in today's lecture. Okay, topic number one is Trusted Travelers Program. Okay, Trusted Traveler Program launched by Ministry of Home Affairs to ease international travel in India. Okay, so Indians can travel abroad easily. Mostly, it will help foreigners coming to India. Okay, so what is this Trusted Traveler Program? We'll talk about this. Then recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Defense Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated 3 new warships in Indian Navy. This is a significant development as far as India's naval prowess is concerned. It is a very big development for Indian Navy. So we'll talk about this issue. Then we'll talk about Kashi Tamil Sangamam. It is organized by Ministry of Education to basically celebrate the connections between Kashi, which is in North India, and Tamil Nadu, which is in South India. So it is a cultural festival which bridges the gap between northern and southern regions of India. So we'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll talk about US sanctions on Russian oil tankers. New sanctions, new economic sanctions have been levied on Russian oil tankers, which would really harm India-Russia oil trade. Okay, so we'll talk about this. Okay, so these are the 4 topics that we'll zero in our attention on. So let's start today's discussion, starting with topic number 1. Trusted Traveler Program. So this Trusted Traveler Program is known as Fast Track Immigration Trusted Traveler Program. It was launched by Union Home Minister Amit Shah at the airports of Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Cochin and Ahmedabad. 7 months before, this program was launched for the Delhi airport, Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi. Okay. Now, basically what happens is foreigners coming to India or international travelers coming to India have to go through customs. Okay. Now, that procedure takes a lot of time and it really hassles foreign travelers coming to India, whether they are Indians who have gone to foreign countries and are coming back, or whether it's foreigners who are coming to India. It really takes a lot of their time to spend on customs. Now, government wants their travel experience at the airports to be seamless. Therefore, government is establishing smart gates, government is establishing cameras, government is establishing biometric scanners so that they can easily travel through those gates. They don't have to spend that much time with the customs organization. Okay. Now, this actually makes international travel easy and secure. Clear? This is what Trusted Traveler Program is. And this Trusted Traveler Program, the aim is to launch this system at 21 international airports in India. Okay. New Delhi was the first airport where it was launched, and now it has been launched at these airports. Clear? Now, what is this Trusted Traveler Program? Okay. It has been introduced with the purpose of facilitating international mobility with faster, smoother, and secure immigration clearances. Okay. The thing is that if you want to enroll for this scheme, if you're a frequent international flyer and you want to enroll for this scheme, you have to register with Government of India. You have to give your biometrics, that means your facial scan, your fingerprint, and then you have to give other documents also. Once you're registered for this scheme, now when you come back to India at the airport, you will go through these queues. These queues will have cameras who will scan your face, they will check your documents, and you don't have to spend much time at the customs organization. You'll quickly evacuate the airport. Okay, so it would become very easy for you to do international travel. Now, it will be implemented at 21 major airports across the country. And remember this, the nodal agency, the agency that is responsible for the implementation of this project is known as Bureau of Immigration, which is under Ministry of Home Affairs. Remember, generally UPSC might ask an MCQ confusing you people. Okay, many people might think that Bureau of Immigration deals with the external sector, so maybe it is related to Ministry of External Affairs. UPSC might ask you that MCQ and confuse you. But remember, Bureau of Immigration is with Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, this facility shall be available only to those applicants, those international travelers who have registered with this scheme. Okay, so to enroll, the applicant has to register on an online portal of Bureau of Immigration. Clear? Now, how does it work? So basically, you have to apply online on an online portal. If you are found eligible, then you will need to provide biometrics. That means fingerprint scan, face scan, along with other documents. Okay, these biometrics will be captured, and after you are registered for this scheme, then every time you land on an Indian airport, you will go through a queue, and there will be cameras that will scan your fingers and faces, and you don't have to spend any time. It's like FASTag when it comes to national highways and cars. It's similar to that. Okay. The registered passenger has to scan the boarding pass issued by the airlines at the e-gate. So there will be e-gates established at these 21 airports, and then scan the passport. There will be no official standing checking your passport, checking your boarding pass. No one. You just have to scan it on a scanner. Now, the FTR registration will be valid for a maximum of 5 years or until the time your passport is valid. Okay. Now, for this to happen, government has to establish smart gates at these 21 airports, right? Smart scanners at these 21 airports. So it would require world-class infrastructure facilities. So world-class immigration facilities will be developed through an accelerated immigration pathway for international travels who will be screened through automated gates. Okay. Now, all of this is part of India's Vikasit Bharat at 2047. As you all know, India has aimed to become a developed country by 2047. So all these steps are in that direction. Okay, so remember this. All right. Now let's shift focus to a very important, significant news item, which is 3 new warships in Indian Navy. Indian Navy turns mightier. Okay. 3 frontline combatants or warships were commissioned in the Indian Navy at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai on Wednesday. Now, these were inaugurated or inducted by Prime Minister Modi, and Defense Minister accompanied him, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that these new warships would not only help India militarily, because these new warships would improve India's defense capabilities, especially in the international waters, but it would also help India economically. Now, how can warships help India economically? You see, international trade through sea, okay, through ships is a very risky business. Okay, sometimes there are natural disasters, but sometimes there are pirates who attack your ship and loot everything from that ship. That is why on risky routes, okay, sea routes that are very risky, well, naval ships accompany the commercial ships to provide them security, so that in case they face any pirate, the naval ships will attack those pirate ships. Okay, so basically this would secure India's international trade, India's sea routes with the rest of the world, and India's international trade would become more secure. Naturally, it would help India economically, right? That is why Prime Minister emphasized that the induction of these new warships won't just help India from a military standpoint, it will also help India from an economic perspective as well, because it will boost India's international trade. Okay, now these 3 warships are INS Nilgiri, which is a stealth frigate, INS Surat, which is a stealth destroyer. The word stealth means it is very difficult to detect these ships. And INS Vakshir, which is not a warship, it is a submarine. Okay, so these 3 warships have been inducted. So let's look at these 3 warships one by one. Okay, so first let's talk about INS Nilgiri. Okay, as you can see over here, the Nilgiri class stealth frigate is first of the 7 frigates under Project 17A. Look, India has many stealth frigates. Okay, Many stealth frigates. And these different stealth frigates are categorized into different classes. One such class is Nilgiri class, which is the most advanced class India has. Okay. Under this Nilgiri class, there are 7 frigates. INS Nilgiri is the first one among them. Okay. So what was Project 17A? Under Project 17A, India would construct or make 7 frigates, 7 of these warships which belong to Nilgiri class. Okay, India would build 7 frigates. These 7 frigates would be built by Mazagaon, Dock shipbuilders, and Garden Reach shipbuilders and engineers. Okay, this was Project 17A to build 7 frigates, and the first of these frigate has been already built. That is INS Nilgiri. The other 6 ships which are under construction are INS Himgiri, Taragiri, Udegiri, Dunagiri, and Vindhyagiri. Okay, so this is the other 5. Okay, there are 6 other ships. One of them is still unnamed. Okay, that is why I have mentioned 5 names. Clear? So INS Nilgiri is the first of these 7 frigates. Make sense? Now it has missile launcher, guns used for attacking purposes. Clear? This is India's stealth frigate, Nilgiri class. Then, similarly, we have a stealth guided missile destroyer. Okay, it contains missiles, and under Project 15B, India decided to construct 4 destroyers. Okay, 4 destroyers, missile destroyers. Okay, now these 4 missile destroyers belong to Project 15B. So under Project 15B, we were building these 4 destroyers, and they belong to Vishakhapatnam class. So like I said, all ships are categorized into different classes, right? So this destroyer belongs to Vishakhapatnam class. Okay, now under Project 15B, 3 destroyers had been already built: INS Vishakhapatnam, INS Mormugoa, INS Imphal. INS Surat was the 4th and final under this project. Okay, and the last is a submarine, not Wagster. I'm so sorry, Wagashir. Okay, INS Vakshir is the 6th and final submarine of the modern stealthy Kalavari class built under Project 75. So what was Project 75? Well, look, for submarines, there are basically, you have to listen to this carefully. Submarines are of 2 types. Okay, there are nuclear submarines, there are diesel electric submarines, or we call them conventional submarines. Okay, now diesel electric submarines run on diesel and electric engines, so they require diesel as a fuel to run. Whereas nuclear submarines run on nuclear fuel, they require nuclear energy to move forward. Okay, now naturally nuclear submarines are superior to diesel electric submarines. Naturally, they can stay underwater for longer periods of time. They are way superior than diesel electric submarines. But the problem is, these are very expensive to build. They are big, very expensive, and takes a lot of time to build them. Whereas diesel electric submarines can be built comparatively quicker, and they are comparatively cheaper. Therefore, India needs a mix of two. India needs a group of nuclear submarines, which India has, INS Vikrant and all. India needs a group of diesel electric submarines. Okay. Now, India decided to build 6 diesel electric submarines under Project 75. These diesel electric submarines belong to Kalvari class. Okay. Now, INS Vakshir is a diesel electric attack submarine. That means its whole purpose is to attack enemy ships. All right. Now, as far as this Kalvari class is concerned, this Kalvari class is based on Scorpion class. Okay, so these ships, these Kalvari class ships, of which INS Vakshir is a part, these are basically influenced or inspired from Scorpion class submarines. Scorpion class submarines were also diesel electric submarines which were built by French and Spanish companies. Okay, so we have updated Scorpion class submarines and called it Kalvari class, and INS Vakshir is just one of them. All right. So these are the 3 warships that have been inducted. No doubt they would improve India's defense capabilities in the international waters in general and Indian Ocean in particular. Plus, it would also secure India's sea routes. All right, which would give economic benefits. Okay. Now let's shift focus to our third news item of the day, which is Kashi Tamil Sangamam. So Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan on Wednesday announced that the main theme of the third edition of Kashi Tamil Sangamam, a cultural exchange program scheduled to be held from February 14 to 25, will be Rishi Agastya. Okay, so look, Kashi Tamil Sangamam is basically a cultural program, cultural exchange program to build synergies and bonds between the culture of North India, represented by Kashi, which is Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Okay, there are a lot of synergies and similarities and cultural exchange between northern and southern India. So, to encourage that, to strengthen the bond between northern and southern India, Kashi Tamil Sangamam was first held in 2022. So, its first edition was launched in 2022. Second edition came about, and this 2025 will be the time for third edition. Okay, now this Kashi Tamil Sangamam is organized by Ministry of Education. That is why Union Education Minister made this announcement, and he said that this third edition, this year's Kashi Tamil Sangamam, would have a theme, and that theme will be Rishi Agastya. Now Rishi Agastya is a very revered saint in both North India and South India. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, though we'll talk about this Sangamam in more detail when it actually happens between 14th February and 25th. Okay, right now let's talk about this Sangamam in brief. Okay, so about the Sangamam, organized by Ministry of Education in collaboration with other ministries, bring the knowledge and cultural traditions of North and South closer. Now, the implementing agencies for this project are IIT Madras from South and IIT BHU, Banaras Hindu University from North. Okay. Now, this festival is also in sync with National Education Policy 2020, which emphasizes on integrating the wealth of Indian knowledge systems with modern systems of knowledge. So, National Education Policy says that we need to revive and revive, and rekindle the traditional ancient Indian knowledge systems, and we need to integrate them also. Clear? Now, this is all you need to know about this Sangamam. Okay, but why have I chosen this image for this? Well, this flag is the flag for ancient Pandyan kingdom of Tamil Nadu, headquartered around Madurai. Okay, the ancient Pandyan kingdom. As you all know, that southern India was ruled by these three kingdoms: Pandya, Cholas, and Cheras. Right. So Pandyan kingdom had its headquarters it ruled over the region around Madurai. Okay, and the reason why I have chosen the flag of Pandyan kingdom is because the first contact or cultural contact between Tamil Nadu and Kashi was because of a Pandyan king. Okay, legend goes, or cultural belief goes, that King Parakrama Pandya, who ruled over the region around Madurai in 15th century, wanted to build a temple to Lord Shiva. So he traveled to Kashi to bring a lingam. Okay, while returning, he stopped to rest under a tree. But when he tried to continue his journey, the cow carrying the lingam refused to move. So Parakram Pandya thought that this is the wish of the Lord. Therefore, he installed the Shivaling over there and constructed a temple known as Kasi Vishwanthar Temple in Tenkasi in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so now Tamilians or South Indians who can't travel to Kashi, Varanasi for their pilgrimage, well, they can travel to Tenkasi, Kashi Vishwanthar temple. So, in a way, he established his own Kashi in this area. Okay, this is the significance, or this is the cultural bond between the two places, northern and southern India. Okay, so that is why this festival is celebrated, and this theme is also like researched upon and dwelled upon. Okay, all right. And now we move on to our last topic of the day, which is US sanctions on Russian oil tankers. Okay. The outgoing administration in the US, the outgoing Biden administration, because Trump administration is about to come, announced new sanctions on Russian oil trade last week, imposing sanctions on 183 tankers, the bulk of the so-called shadow fleet that has kept Russian oil flowing to consumers such as India and China. Okay, look, to understand this news, you need a bit of background. Okay, so hear me out carefully. Look, when Russia-Ukraine war started, the entire Western world came to the aid of Ukraine, and they wanted to punish Russia for it. Okay. Now, these Western analysts thought that the reason why Russia is able to fight against Ukraine is because Russia has a lot of funding, money. And this money that Russia earns, or this money that Russia has, is because Russia is able to export a lot of crude oil, right? So, first of all, Western countries, led by USA, started pressurizing other countries who were buying Russian oil that you don't buy Russian oil. Okay. But some countries listened to USA. Some countries like India and China did not listen to USA and they continued buying Russian oil. So Russia was able to earn money and spend it on its war efforts in Ukraine. So then USA decided to put sanctions on Russia. And what was the nature of these sanctions basically? Okay. USA said that any Russian ship that is exporting crude oil to other countries, okay, cannot sell that crude oil for more than $60 per barrel. Now that was a very low cost. $60 per barrel was very low, and USA did that so that Russia doesn't earn enough profit, and if it doesn't have enough profit, then it won't be able to earn money to fund its war in Ukraine. So USA said that all Russian ships exporting Russian oil to different countries, well, they cannot sell their oil beyond $60 per barrel. Now, how to enforce this price cap? You see, this is very important. Again, hear me out carefully. Okay. You see, what happens is that when you are exporting crude oil through ships, it is a very risky thing. Okay. These ships are prone to natural disasters. These ships are prone to piracy and many other things. Right. That is why the owner of these ships get their insurance done. So in case there is a disaster, they'll get their money back. Plus, these people, these exporters of oil also need transportation services. The thing is that most of these insurance providers and transport service providers, okay, most of these insurance providers basically are Western countries. And these Western countries come under the control of USA or come under the influence of USA. So basically, USA banned all, not USA, Western countries banned all of their insurers to insure Russian oil if it is being sold for more than $60 per barrel. Okay, that is how they were able to enforce this cap. Okay, so if Russia is selling its crude oil for $60 per barrel, more than $60 per barrel, no Western insurer would come to insure these Russian ships, and because there would be no insurance, Russia won't be able to sell this. Okay, that's how they were enforcing these price caps. Now, these price caps were applicable only for Russian ships. Okay, only Russian ships who were selling crude oil. If they are selling this crude oil at a price lower than $60, then Western insurance can come. But if they are not, if they're selling for $65, $70, then they won't be able to get insurance because more than 90% of insurers are Europeans or Westerners. Okay, this is how these sanctions were ensured. So, what did Russia do to evade these sanctions? Well, Russia realized that these sanctions are applicable only on Russian ships, right? So, Russia created a fleet of ships that had unknown owners, whose ownership details were a bit murky. Okay, Russia created a fleet of these ships whose ownership was a bit murky. Therefore, sanctions do not apply on these ships, right? And they were able to sell this crude oil through these ships at a price more than $60 per barrel. Okay, now this fleet of ships that had unknown ownership details, this was known as Russia's shadow fleet. Because they were able to evade sanctions, Russia was able to sell oil, and this shadow's fleet was actually selling oil mostly to India and China, right? So what has US done now? US has precisely put sanctions on these shadow fleet. US has targeted individual ships, identifying them and then targeting them that you cannot sell through this ship. Okay, this is the situation. Now, You need some information about India-Russia oil trade. So India is the world's third largest consumer of crude oil, and 85% of its oil consumption comes from imports. Now, Russia was not that big of a supplier for India. But after Russia-Ukraine war, and because of sanctions on Russian oil, Russia started selling its oil at steep discounts. Okay, so that it can incentivize or encourage different countries to buy its oil. Okay, so Russia started selling its oil at steep discounts. Now, India grabbed this opportunity. Since Russia-Ukraine war, before Russia-Ukraine war, India did not buy that much oil from Russia. But since the war, because Russia was offering steep discounts, Russia became the largest oil supplier for India. In 2004, Russian oil was 38% of India's total oil imports. Okay. Now, USA was angry with India because of this. But India said that we are here to look after our own people's needs. We are here for Indians. Therefore, we will buy cheap oil if we find one. Okay. Now, USA has imposed sanctions on the shadow fleet. Now, India was getting this Russian oil through the shadow fleet. Now, that shadow fleet is targeted. So, India's oil imports from Russia would now come under jeopardy. Okay. Russia's shadow fleet, aging tankers of uncertain ownership, emerged largely due to dodge Western price cap of $60 per barrel. Okay. So, this is the situation. Clear? I have explained this thing in the beginning only, so we'll not discuss this. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. Please do not forget to revise this lecture. Okay. On that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.